What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about winning friends and influencing people, INFJ 2021 edition. As most of you have read or maybe have heard of the book Winning Friends and Influencing People by Dale Carnegie, this is one of the biggest bestsellers in the world and it's been there forever. But we as INFJs actually know all the things that he's talking about, right? In this book, there's a lot about mirroring other people, understanding where they're coming from. So pretty much all of those qualities that we as INFJs inhabit by default. But our hurdle is a completely different one. It has so much more to do with the fact that we are not focused on the right kind of people. And it's really difficult to get out of the current situation, but I'm going to show you some amazing tricks that you can use in 2021 to create the relationships that you so want. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to take the next step and go deeper into this topic as well, then check out the INFJ Epic Life Masterclass. We have a great offer for you and it's the final sale. So you have I think around a month time from now on to get it. All the information you find below. So we as INFJs don't necessarily have to learn those typical rules in order to win friends or influence people. You know, as I said, we don't need to learn how to mirror other people. We barely need to learn how to understand others, see things from their perspective. We do this, but we do this even to a point where it's not really healthy for us. And it happens on a subconscious level, so we're not even aware of it. So why is this even a topic? Because, we as INFJs, we continuously tell ourselves, well, I'm unique. I don't really care how others see me. I have already accepted that I'm different and that's okay. But very often, this is still something we carry with us. We ask ourselves, why do people not like me? Why, when I show up in this great way, people don't show me the love and appreciation I'm looking for? And very often this is caused because we're looking for people's approval at the wrong place. Meaning in 95% of the cases, the people that you would want to see you as somebody special, meaning, let's say you have coworkers and you would love for them to include you in their inner circle, the way they talk about projects or even private conversations, whatever it is. This might be a scenario. Or you feel like, okay, no matter what I share, let's say on social media, I barely get any likes and this isn't really moving forward. I don't understand why others are liked and I'm not. Questions like this come up. And I have accepted this a long time ago. I remember way before I started this channel, when Instagram really started growing, I had a phase where I was focused on social media more from a personal perspective. So I was sharing what I was doing and nobody really cared. And even to this day, when I have posts on my private Facebook page, people just don't care. And it has less to do with the fact that, people just don't like me and that there's something wrong with me. It's much more that the people that this was aimed to, they're not the ones who are going to appreciate it. So when you have, let's say, those colleagues at work that you want to fit in with, probably it's not the best way to actually aim for that. It's much more about understanding that we have to show up as ourselves, and the people who we will win will be completely different. They will have nothing to do with this. I remember the people I hung out with probably 5 or 6 years ago, they have nothing to do with the people I hang out with now. Okay, my best friends are the same, completely true, but for example, this entire community, the people that are in my mastermind, where we work on creating more business for each other and help each other. And, the kinds of people that I now, have in my life are completely different. And it all happened because I started to show up different. And I stopped investing in convincing people who are already determined to misunderstand you to understand me. That's the whole thing. The people at work, for example, the biggest chance of them really liking you is for you to do your own thing. And maybe some of them will come around. But as long as you try to do something in order for them to see your value, it will not happen. Because, and now we get back to this, those things in the book, we do it in all of those aspects that we have learned. So we mirror people. We try to put ourselves in those conversations. We adapt to these situations. And of course, we win at this. There's no doubt about it. We could do this. But here comes the problem. We know that this is fake. We know that this isn't who we really are. So it doesn't give us the satisfaction that we want. So we either are completely playing a role And when we do this, we still feel like, okay, I'm not being accepted. I'm just being accepted for the role I'm playing. Or we continuously actually try to put out those things that really make us unique, that make us stand out, like talking to people about deeper topics, going into the direction of personal development, of, understanding ourselves deeply, maybe asking people personal questions, things that, let's say in this example, your colleagues are not open to. And what happens in that moment, you get rejected. People actually feel like, oh, she or he is weird, this isn't for us, and then they actually even go away even more. So this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and so many INFJs go through this. I've talked to so many of you who experience this all the time. And no matter how much you tell yourself, but I'm special, I deserve this, I'm a good person, I'm interesting, your results don't mirror that back. So of course doubt comes up, of course. But here is the twist. This is not the place to look for those people. 95% of the people, probably even more, will not be the right people for you. And that's not because you're an INFJ, that's just because you're human. Our biggest issue with this is that we keep staying stuck with these people. If you had the mindset of, I'm going to do the things that make me love myself, like where I think like I'm the coolest thing ever, not in an arrogant way, but in a way of you're so proud of yourself. You like the way you really carry yourself. You like the actions you take. You're proud of how courageous you are. All of those steps you continuously keep on doing without looking left or right to the people like it. And then, yes, some colleagues in this scenario, for example, might see you for this and they will respect you for the fact that you're doing your own thing. But it's still not going to be that you're part of their circle and it all like works out. Most of the time, because even if you would be in that circle, it wouldn't give you the satisfaction that you want, because remember, the thing that we really crave, how to really influence people, how to really win friends, is while we're being as authentic as we can be. And doing that and being that has shown us in the past that people will reject you. But that is exactly where we need to go to. If you want to find the people who will understand you, who will want to be influenced by you, you have to show those parts of you that are not common. You have to show those parts of you where your colleagues will think like, okay, what does she think she's doing? Or why is he like pretending like that this is even something that's normal? It doesn't matter. And we have to get to that point. We have to get to a point where we are so focused on liking ourselves that when we see people like our colleagues not appreciating it, that our first thought is, oh, okay, apparently they don't get it. Like, poor them. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it doesn't come from a place of judgment. It just comes from a place of, I'm so in my own world. I'm so aware of what I really like about myself and what I keep on doing, that if people don't get it, then it's like on them. They are not the people that belong in my life. And it's not that you're not good enough to belong in their life. So I don't care about the fact that when I put out music, let's say on my Facebook page, which I do like, let's say once a month or something, or I used to do this like, a couple of times a day, probably like 4 or 5 years ago when, I did a lot of this transition. It didn't matter to me that nobody liked any of it. It was actually an act of freedom that I felt like, whatever I do, I'm so fine with this, because if I would see this, if I would see that song on my page that I so love at that moment, and that I so identify with, that sparks joy in me. It would spark joy in me if I would see it at somebody else's page. It would actually evoke those emotions in me, and I would think like, oh, that person is really living like in that epic state right now. That's how well I feel about my choices. Of course, Facebook posts, that's a ridiculous little example, but it applies to absolutely everything in your life. And I've seen this at work, I went into places, they were different than me, and I actually succeeded because of that. Because when I showed up as myself more and more, and I talked about the fact that I'm not going to go the way how everybody's going, I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to do it my own way, and guess what? It still works. I don't need your acceptance. That was the point when the people who actually appreciated that, who wanted that inspiration, who wanted to be influenced in that kind of way because they saw how much I was motivating myself. See, in the end, people don't listen to what you're saying. People are looking at what you're doing. And if you want to influence people in any kind of way, hopefully in a positive way for them to also believe in themselves and to just be somebody who people want to be around because you are just exuding energy, and that in itself makes people more excited about their life. If you want to get to that kind of point, you have to love your choices. You have to do what you're doing, not because of how other people are going to react. And there is a huge price to pay. Like, I've known this because I used to be somebody who's so good at all of those things that, let's say, this book talks about. I was really able to give people exactly what they want. I was able to be that perfect image that people could project onto whatever they wanted. I was able to make all of that happen, and it didn't bring me any joy. So why would I do this? I have already proven to myself that I could, but it's not me. So why keep on pretending? Why be liked for something that you're not? They never liked you in the first place. So now when you show up more as yourself and you show those aspects of yours which are unique, which are different, people are going to reject you 10 times more, probably even more than that. But at the same time, the people who could be people in your life, the people who could help you to become more and more the person that you want to be, they see you for the first time, and they get to create an authentic relationship with you then and there. They get to see you. They want to help you. Like, you'll see this not only with coworkers, you see this with mentors. You see this when you come from a place of, I'm actually sticking up for myself. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm not doing things in order to make people feel like I'm a good person or that I want to actually help them or whatever it is. Like, when you stop doing this, people will find you, the people who are right for you. And we need to look out for people who want to go in the direction we are going towards. And the only way this can happen is if you show that version of yourself more and more. You'll find people that would want your help, that you could motivate, but you also find people who will motivate you who are going in the same direction. Why be friends with somebody who see the world completely different? Like, there's nothing bad about it, don't get me wrong. Like, my friends, they're all very different. None of them is an entrepreneur. None of them is like an INFJ, right? I love my friends dearly. We're a small group, but there are aspects that I share with each one of them that is part of my authentic self. So when you know that, it's not your task to try to be friends with the people at work or maybe the people that you see in a certain environment, because they already have shown you that the way you show up in your most authentic self, that isn't something that they're interested in. It's on you to know this as soon as possible and not say okay, actually I just haven't done enough. This isn't really going in the way I want it, but the reason why it's not is just because they haven't understood me yet, right? Or that you tell yourself the reason why they haven't understood me so far is because I haven't shown up more intensely, or I've shown them more of this. People get it quite quickly. They're either committed to understanding you or to misunderstanding you. And that does not make them a bad person or anything like this. It's not like people go out of their way to say, I want to misunderstand you. It's just that their way of seeing the world is just so different than yours that they will see it from a perspective that is counterintuitive to how you want to see the world. So in 2021, make it a point to change that. Make it a point to reach out into communities that share your same values. It could be groups where meet each other in order to be masterminds and work on goals together. It can be that you start helping others. We've talked about this in the vocation aspect, in the 5 pillars all together in the poster, and we've talked about this in videos where we go deeper into vocation. Find a way to share your voice, find a way to share your positive energy about how you approach life. That is the thing that's going to make people see you for who you are, and those are the things that are going to help you to find the right kind of people. You don't need those typical rules of mirroring people and getting to a place of being able to adapt to their emotional state. We have already mastered this, we know how to do this, but it's actually the wrong kind of people that we do this towards. So we have to learn to let that go. So trust me, if you think about any kind of people in your life, and you can, just make a quick list of what are the people that I would love to like what I'm doing. Is it maybe somebody that you used to know and you would want that person to like your posts? Is it maybe coworkers that you would want to accept you and to think like you're smart and you have great ideas? Is it like, that group of people that always hang out at that coffee shop? It doesn't matter. We all have something that, triggers this in us. If you have this going on, then just remember, these are not the people you want to convince. And I'm telling you this from a personal experience. Like, I to this day have people, I probably don't have it with groups, but then I have, okay, that person used to be a mentor of mine and I want that person to respect me. And if I don't actively think about it, I still am disappointed from time to time that she doesn't see what I've accomplished. She doesn't see it as something amazing. For her, the way she has chosen to live her life is the right way to go. And since I don't do that, there cannot be the appreciation that I so yearn for. So these things are happening. Most of the time we're not aware of, but we can catch ourselves. And now that I have caught myself in that situation in particular, I know very well, don't sweat it. This is not the person you need to convince, because that person is already in such a different mindset than yours that there cannot be an appreciation. Maybe that appreciation will come from a place of, oh, okay, I see that she's actually, succeeding in certain things, and, they might make sense from her perspective at some point, but they might not. It's not on us to convince that person. And so every single time you catch yourself, that's an amazing opportunity to change your mindset, to understand, okay, great, I caught myself. I understood that this was subconsciously going on. So I was still trying, to make somebody else understand this. And we all know it always comes back to you. Why are you trying to convince that person? Because you haven't gotten to a point yet where you yourself are so proud of this that the fact that that person doesn't get it rather looks to you like, okay, that person just doesn't get how awesome this is. And it doesn't come from a place of, I still haven't proven myself. That's how you honestly win friends and influence people. It happens on a completely different level. It's completely different people who from the beginning are open to understanding you. Stop trying to convince the people who have already shown you once or twice that they don't see what you're seeing. Go out, share your thoughts with more like-minded communities. Go out there, expand your life. It's so much more than we are putting in it right now. And all of those opportunities, all of those people we could meet, we're probably not even aware of them right now, but they do exist. The world is vast and there's so many different people with so many different beliefs. And, I've been now in communities and in, business worlds that show me how different life can be than the one I used to know. So make 2021 the best year yet in that aspect as well. Remember, if you want a little bit more insight into this and really go deep, then check out the INFJ Epic Life Masterclass. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on how to stop caring what other people think of you, 2021 edition. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.